Welcome to show 77. Good morning, Captain. Good morning, Shine. Well, do you need another Muleskinner out on your no more line? I like to work, I'm rolling all the time, and I can carve my initials on a mule's behind. Hey, little water boy, bring your bucket around. And if you don't like your job, set your water bucket down. Working on a good road is $1.50 a day. My good girl waiting on a Saturday night just to spend my pay. I'm going into town, honey. What you want me bring you back? Bring me a pint of booze and a John B. Stetson hat. Well, I'll smell your breath a burning. I want you to turn your damper down. And if you ain't got a damper, good girl, turn your bread around. Jimmy Rogers. Well, it's show 77. That is one heck of a lot of shows. I think they'll get to a certain point when, I don't know, should I do 100 shows? You think I should do 1,000 shows like Lucille Ball? I don't know. I don't know. Do you know? Okay. And now for another song. Protein monster ate a sack of poison sugar, crawling out of a barn into the weeds to die, rolling his eyes. She calls me about sleeping through the day. There was nothing I wanted to say. I closed my eyes. My molasses broke my glasses and the moon came up and we wiggled our asses. She got red eyes. The werewolf rides and everybody hides. He won't be scared when he dies. Look in his eyes. Marilyn Monroe pointed her toe, crawling out of the pool from the water so cool. Camera flashes flashing back from her eyes. Howdy, folks. Well, for show and tell this week, I have the Harry Smith Anthology of American Folk Music. Do you like folk music, so to speak? There are those who say that folk music basically disappeared with the invention of the phonograph record player. The Anthology of American Folk Music is great. Harry Smith, of course, collected 78s because that was the only way you could hear old stuff. He did one of the first LP versions. It comes with this book, see? And the book has all kinds of stuff written. Ah, there we go. That's Doc Boggs. There's a picture of Doc Boggs here. How about the other one? Ah, there we go. There is Doc Boggs. And you may be saying to yourself, so who's Doc Boggs? Great banjo player. And here's some of the original notes in the format that they appeared in. The format in which they appeared? It's this one. I see. She's switching cameras on me while I'm looking in my booklet. But it's got 80-something songs, and he's got little blurbs about them. Harry Smith Anthology. This is what everyone studied when they wanted to play folk music in the 60s. The entire folk music revival of the 60s comes from the Harry Smith Anthology. If you like folk music, I suggest you get it. Now that it's been reissued on CDs, which is the copy I have, it was originally issued in 3 double LP sets. Anyway, Harry Smith, R.I.P. He also made experimental films. Harry Smith was great. Okay, enough of that. See that? Simple Machines. I bought this from a record company, a tiny independent record company. On the back is a list of their bands. Which I think you could basically read. You haven't heard of any of them, and neither have I. But they had this advertised. I wound up on this label's website through something else. And they had a beautiful logo, this logo, and they said, you want a t-shirt with this logo? And I said, yeah, that'll be great. And I sent them $5 or $10, whatever it was cheap. Stupid me, I thought the logo would be, I thought it would be big and beautiful, and instead it's tiny, it's like the size of a pack of cigarettes or something, or maybe smaller. And I thought it would be 10 times bigger. That just shows how much I know. Yes, I've bought some interesting things online. I'll wager you have too. You know, finding shoes around here is difficult. And when you find shoes online, you really don't know if they'll fit. Especially now that they're all made in China. Okay, not all. All the ones I can afford are made in China. And they have a rough idea of foot size. I wear 9.5 basically, and I have many shoes now that say 10.5, and they're still my size, and my feet haven't grown. It's weird. But has anybody buy ladies' dresses? I'm assuming basically ladies. I've heard that the sizing on those are hilarious. The sizings, yeah, that'd make it grammatically correct. They know that everybody wants to be small, so they just kind of change their numbers to fit what people want instead of what they really are. It's silly. I don't know. Maybe they should have mirrors that do that and make you look just your ideal weight. And then you wouldn't have to worry about being your ideal weight because you would perceive yourself as being of an ideal weight. I don't know. Nobody rings my bell. Nobody knocks upon my door. Nobody calls me on the phone. Nobody won't leave me alone. Nobody follows me down the street. Nobody sees everything I do. Nobody stops to pass the time of day. Nobody has nothing to say. I don't want nobody following me. Get off of my cloud, get out of my tree. They say nobody is an island, and nobody can do everything I can. Nobody sleeps in the hall outside. Nobody looks in my window at night. Nobody watches out for me. Nobody knows how it feels to be me. I don't want nobody bothering me. Get off of my cloud, get out of my tree. They say nobody is an island. Nobody can do everything I can. Nobody can do the jerk like I do. Nobody can do the shimmy like I do. Nobody can do the shing-a-lang like I do. the pony like I do. Nobody can do the shake like I do. Nobody, 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 nobody but me. And thank you to the Isley Brothers for the end, and the human beings with a Z. Baby, if you want me to love you, here's what you got to do. You gotta love me, you gotta hug me, you gotta kiss me, and you gotta miss me. You got to hold me in your arms, and that's enough. That's enough. Baby, if you want me for your man, here's what you got to understand. You got to squeeze me, you gotta please me, every day, all the way. You got to hold me in your arms, and that's enough. That's enough. Baby, if you want to stay on my mind, you gotta love your daddy all the time. I want my baby, I don't mean maybe, I want my baby. Come on and drive me crazy. I want you to hold me in your arms, and that's enough. 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 That's enough. And now, Boomer's story. What's a boomer? Okay, this is made famous by Ry Cooder recently, which is to say in the late 70s, I believe. Boomer's Story, a great tune. It's by Carson Robison. Yes, Carson Robison, who you haven't heard of. He and his friend, or partner, did the expurgated version of Barnacle Bill the Sailor. Barnacle Bill the Sailor was a dirty old drinking song. And they made a new set of lyrics for it that weren't dirty, and it became a hit. Folks, Carson Robison was the guy who worked with Vernon Dalhart on the first country hit. The first country hit, we're talking about The Wreck of the Old 97, backed with the Prisoner's song. Wreck of the Old 97, to give you some idea, is found in the wreck with his hand on his throttle, scalded to death by the steam. This is not 38, this is old 97, and get her into Spencer on time. You know, it's that song. Johnny Cash did it later. Many people have done it. The Prisoner's song is, if I had the wings of an angel, over these prison walls I would fly. Vernon Dalhart was a violin player rather than a fiddle player. And when you hear that guitar strumming on Prisoner's song, it's Carson Robison. He worked with Vernon Dalhart. And when they put out this record, the company was amazed because it sold 1 million copies. They said, holy mackerel, there's a country music market. And so they started putting out country records, of course. Started darn quick. But anyway, another thing that he wrote was Boomer's Story. It was 1928, and Carson Robison was a country writer and singer, and he was born in 1890, and so he was 39 when, or 38 or 39 when he did Boomer's Story. A boomer is a guy who follows the railroads. He travels on the railroads to boom towns. He goes there for seasonal work, and then he gets out and goes somewhere else. You know, migrant worker. That's a boomer. Boomtown. Somebody told me years ago that it was the guy who shovels coal on the old railroads. He was wrong. I found, finally, a glossary of old railroad terms. I have a Carson Robison songbook, by the way. But Ry Cooder improved some of the chord changes, so I follow him. Come and gather all around me, listen to my tale of woe. Got some advice to give you, things you want to know. Take a tip from one who's traveled, never start to ramble and roam. 'Cause once you get the Roman fever, you'll never wanna settle down. But you never wanna settle down. Met a little girl in Frisco, I asked her to be my wife. Told her I was tired of roaming, gonna settle down for life. Then I heard the whistle blowing, and I knew it was a red ball train. Left that girl beside the railroad, I never seen that girl again. Boys, I never seen that girl again. Seen that girl again, never seen that girl again. Left her standing by the railroad, never saw that girl again. I traveled all over the country, I traveled everywhere. Been on every branch line railroad, and I never paid a nickel fare. Been from Maine to California, Canada to Mexico. And I never tried to save no money, and now I got no place to go. And now I got no place to go. So listen to a boomer story, pay attention to what I say. I hear another train coming, I guess I'll be on my way. And if you wanna do me a favor, then I'll lay me down to die. Dig my grave beside the railroad so I can hear the trains roll by. So I can hear the trains roll by. Boomer story, Carson Robison, right? Life is funny, and the post office is even funnier than life. I know a guy who works for the post office, but it's very difficult to get any long stories out of him. He's not a long story guy, but he has been with the post office a long time. Have you ever heard the expression going postal? I hope you enjoyed show 77. We enjoyed doing it for you. It's a 1111 production. And we're going to be back with show 78. Yes, show 78. Tomorrow's supposed to be really, really hot, because little things like that can happen.